My cousin left her laptop open with her messages still logged in. I was about to log her out when a notification popped up on the screen. It was a message from a group chat. To celebrate Hayden's improved grades, we're having a family dinner tonight. Curiosity got the better of me, and I clicked on it. There were only 4 people in the group: my dad, my mom, my brother Hayden, and my cousin Alara. My brother replied, "Since it's just the 4 of us, let's not invite Simone. She's always so petty." Anyway, remember how she picked a fight with Alara over a single apple? I froze. It turned out I had become an outsider in my own home a long time ago. Right then my phone rang. It was my mom. "Simone, your dad and I have some things to take care of, so we'll be home late. Bring in the laundry from the patio and fold it for me. Oh, and Hayden and Alara are busy today too. Don't wait up for us. Just grab something for yourself to eat." Before I could even process what she said, she hung up. I walked out to the patio. I stared at the piles of laundry belonging to my brother and my cousin. Everything made sense now. I had just been lying to myself this whole time. I didn't know when it started, but I no longer fit into this family. I grabbed the last apple in the kitchen to eat. Last week, Alara said she wanted an apple, and the whole family demanded I give mine to her. I had offered to cut it in half so we could share, but all I got was a lecture from my mother. Half an apple isn't even enough for a snack. She snapped. She snatched the half from Alara's hand and tossed it into the trash. Then she grabbed Alara's hand to lead her out. "Come on, Alara. Your aunt will buy you a whole bag of fresh ones." My brother had glared at me with pure hatred. "Are you really that stingy? You had to fight Alara over an apple?" My dad just sat there acting like it had nothing to do with him. I used to think they were just being extra nice, because Alara was a guest. I thought they felt bad because she was staying with us. I was wrong. I was the guest. I was the stranger. I gathered the clothes, folded them, and put them in their respective rooms. Their rooms looked so cozy with their plush bedding and warm lights. I glanced at my folding cutout on the enclosed patio. A wave of bitterness washed over me. The second morning after Alara moved in, she had dark circles under her eyes. My mom rushed to her asking if she hadn't slept well. Alara sighed and said she wasn't used to sharing a room with anyone, so I was asked to move my bed to the patio. My aunt had just passed away, and I felt sorry for Alara's loss. I didn't want to make things hard for my mom, so I agreed willingly. But my kindness only made them push me further. Because I was the understanding daughter, I had to give up everything, because I was mature. Mom only washed Alara and Hayden's clothes while I did my own. I was the one doing all the chores while they just enjoyed themselves. Before she came, they loved me. How did everything change? The moment she arrived, I sat on my cot scrolling through my phone aimlessly. I saw a post on a burner account Alara used. It was a photo of my parents, Hayden and Alara, all laughing together. They looked like the perfect family. The caption read, "It took a while, but I finally have a mom again. Thank you to my aunt's family for giving me a second home." People were commenting below, "Congrats. Your aunt's family is literally a godsend. So happy for you, babe. You deserve this happiness." I hit the like button on that post. Then I left a comment. "I hope your family stays happy forever." A few minutes later, the post was deleted. She probably forgot that. She had used my phone to follow her burner account once. Seconds later, she called me. "Simone, don't take that post seriously. I was just posting for fun." I actually laughed. Her ability to be two-faced was truly impressive. In front of my parents, she acted like the perfect sweet girl. Behind their backs, she used her seniority to bully me. I had sucked it up for months. Never. She successfully stole something from me. My family called me petty. I tried to explain myself, but I only received their scorn seeing that I wasn't replying. She started faking a sob over the phone. "Simone, you're mad, aren't you? I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I just wanted to feel loved." She broke into a full-blown crying fit. Before I could say a word, my brother Hayden snatched the phone. "Simone, that's enough. It's just a post. Why are you always so small-minded? You made Alara cry. Apologize to her right now." My heart sank. I hadn't even said anything yet. I was the one who needed to apologize. I let out a cold laugh. Apologize for what? What exactly did I do wrong? Hayden was fuming. "You know what you did? Making Alara upset is the same as messing with me. I don't care. Apologize now or don't blame me for what happens next." Then I heard my mom's voice in the background. "Hayden, don't talk to Simone like that. She's your sister." But then she spoke into the phone. "Simone, Hayden is still young. Don't take it to heart. Also, we're just having a quick bite to eat. Don't be upset." Hearing her words made my chest ache. I said coldly, "You don't have to explain. You guys are the real family." Anyway, that sentence set my mother off. Her voice went up an octave. "Simone, how can you say that? Is this really because we didn't bring you to dinner? Are you seriously making this a whole thing? If you're that desperate to eat, I'll Venmo you 30 bucks. Go buy whatever you want. A notification popped up immediately. She had sent the money. There. I sent it. Now drop it. She hung up the phone. I stared at the screen and smirked. If this was what family felt like, I didn't want it anymore. I dialed my best friend, Roxy. That project you mentioned, is there still a spot for me? Roxy answered instantly. Of course, Simone. Finally, I've been waiting for you to join my team. When can you get here? I'll book your flight right now. I didn't hesitate. Tomorrow. As early as possible. After I hung up, I felt strangely calm. Roxy had invited me multiple times, but I always refused because I didn't want to be far from home. My dream used to be staying close to my family, but now I was done with that dream. They didn't get home until late that night. The smell of alcohol hit me the moment they walked in. I was in the middle of packing my things. When they saw what I was doing, my parents' faces shifted instantly. I rushed over and snatched a pile of clothes from my hand, throwing them on the floor. Simone, what are you doing? Are you trying to run away from home? I already sent you money. Why are you still throwing a tantrum? I silently picked up the clothes and looked her in the eye. A tantrum? Is that what you think this is? I saw the group chat. Did you ever even consider me part of this family? My mom's face went pale. Simone, let me explain. I laughed. Don't bother. I don't want this home anymore. My dad finally spoke up, but his words were full of blame. It's just a group chat. What does that prove, Simone? You're just too sensitive. Sensitive? Fine. Let them think what they want. They were always going to make me the villain anyway. I ignored them and kept packing. Alara stepped forward crying. Simone, did you see my messages? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. If I hadn't moved in, things wouldn't be this messy. She reached out to grab my arm. Simone, please don't be mad at the family. If someone has to leave, it should be me. You're the one who belongs here. I shoved her arm away. Stop acting. I'm not falling for your fake sympathy anymore. I didn't use much force. But Alara stumbled back toward the corner of the table. Hayden caught her just in time. He pulled her behind him and shoved me hard. I wasn't prepared for it. I slammed into the floor. My knee hit the ground with a sickening thud. The pain brought tears to my eyes. He didn't look sorry at all. In fact, he looked satisfied. That's what you get for putting your hands on Alara. Maybe you'll think twice next time. I saw a flash of concern on my mom's face. She started to move toward me, but Alara, sobbing, stopped her auntie. Maybe I should just leave. I'm only causing trouble. My mom immediately turned her back on me and pulled Alara into a hug. Oh, honey, don't say that. I would never let you leave. You only have us now. Then she turned to me, her eyes filled with disappointment. Simone, you've gone too far this time. I am so disappointed in you. Disappointed. A tragic smile touched my lips. She wanted me to yield to Alara every time, and I did. She wanted me to be the mature one, and I was. What exactly was she disappointed in? That I finally stopped letting Alara play me like a fool, or that I discovered their secret and refused to play along. Mom, I'm a human being. I have dignity too. My dad tried to play the peacemaker. Simone, your mother is really upset. Just apologize to Alara, and we'll put this behind us. Always with the apologies. Every single time, I was the one who had to say sorry. Not this time. I looked them in the eye and said, firmly, I will not apologize. I didn't expect Hayden to lose it. He kicked me while I was still on the ground. We'll see how long that attitude lasts. I tasted copper in my mouth. I spat out a bit of blood. But Hayden didn't stop. He kept shouting, Simone, don't you try any tricks with me. I'm telling you, if you don't say sorry to Alara, I'll keep going until you do. He raised his foot again. My dad grabbed his arm. Hayden, stop. She's your sister. Hayden snapped back. She's not my sister. He's a petty brat. I don't want a sister like her. Alara is my only sister. My mom chimed in. Then her voice called, Simone, don't blame us for choosing Alara. Look at yourself. What happened to the sweet girl you used to be? She led Alara into the bedroom. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Alara looking back at me with a smirk. Her eyes said, see, you'll always lose. Everything you have, including your family, belongs to me now. Hayden looked like he was waiting for a signal to continue. My dad, seeing that my mom had checked out, didn't bother staying. He went to his room. Hayden cracked his knuckles. Simone, I'm giving you one last chance to apologize to Alara. My hands aren't exactly gentle. Don't get beat up for nothing. You're going to apologize anyway. I was seeing him for who he really was for the first time. He was a stranger. Sure, we had our squabbles, but he had never been this cruel. Now he looked at me like I was a criminal who deserved to be punished. How did we even get here? Alara's manipulation was top tier. First mom, then dad, and finally Hayden. They were all willing to hurt me for her sake. I let out a weak laugh. Even if you kill me today, I won't apologize. Hayden's fists rained down on me. I didn't make a sound. The physical pain was nothing compared to the hole in my chest. Eventually, my dad came back out to stop him. That's enough. We don't want a police report on our hands. Hayden finally got bored and walked away. The house fell into a heavy silence. I lay on the cold floor thinking about every memory I had with them. After a while, I heard my parents whispering in their room. Did we go too far today?
No.
Simone was out of line. She needed a wake-up call. I'll just make her favorite meal tomorrow to make it up to her. You know her. She's obsessed with this family. She'll get over it. I smiled. It was because they knew I loved them, that they felt they could trample on my dignity. Right then my phone buzzed. I painfully shifted my weight, my bruised ribs protesting with every millimeter of movement. I grabbed the phone. The screen illuminated the darkness. It was a text from Roxy. Flights booked. 6 a.m. departure. I've called an Uber. It'll be at the end of your street at 4 a.m. Don't bring anything you don't need. I've got you. I stared at the screen, the glaring white light reflecting in my tear-dried eyes. I looked at the time. It was 2:15 a.m. Slowly, agonizingly, I pushed myself off the floor. My knee throbbed where it had slammed against the tile, and the metallic taste of blood still lingered on my tongue. I wiped my mouth with the back of my hand. There was no more crying. The well of tears I had reserved for this family had completely dried up, leaving behind nothing but a vast, arid wasteland of indifference. I walked to my designated corner on the enclosed patio, my room. I pulled out a small, worn duffel bag. I didn't pack the clothes my mother had bought me years ago, nor did I pack the cheap toiletries they let me use. I only packed my laptop, my identification, the few pieces of jewelry my late grandmother had left me, and the clothes I had bought with my own part-time job money. The bag was heartbreakingly light. 21 years of existence in this house, and my life fit into a carry-on. Before leaving the patio, I took the cot, the one I had been banished to so Alara could have my warm, plush bed, and folded it flat. I left it leaning against the cold glass. I walked into the kitchen. The house smelled of expensive wine and the heavy perfume my mother wore. I took out my phone, opened the banking app, and stared at the $30 my mother had sent me like I was a beggar. I transferred it back to her account. For the reference note, I typed a single word. Done. Then, I took my house key off my keychain and placed it exactly in the center of the kitchen island. No dramatic letter. No tear-stained goodbye. They didn't deserve my handwriting. I slipped out the back door just as the clock struck 3:50 a.m. The night air was biting, but for the first time in months, I could breathe. I walked down the street, my slight limp the only evidence of my brother's rage, until I saw the headlights of the Uber waiting at the corner. I got in, shut the door, and didn't look back. The first 3 days in Roxy's city were a blur of arnica cream, ice packs, and silence. Roxy, true to her word, didn't push me to talk. She gave me the guest room in her high-rise apartment, fed me, and let me sleep. On the 4th day, my phone began to detonate. I had kept it on silent, but the notifications flooded the screen like a torrential downpour. Mom. Simone, this isn't funny anymore. The laundry is piling up. Where are you? Mom. I made your favorite pasta tonight. Come out of your room. Mom. Wait, where's your cot? Did you actually leave? Simone, answer me right now. Then came Hayden's texts, laced with his usual venom. Hayden, you think you're proving a point? You're just proving you're a selfish brat. Get back here before Dad finds out. Hayden, Alara is crying because she thinks it's her fault. You owe her an apology, and now you owe us an explanation. Pick up the phone. And finally, my father. Dad, Simone, your mother is stressed.
Come home.
We can discuss your attitude later. I read them all, sitting on Roxy's velvet sofa, sipping a cup of hot black coffee. I felt my pulse. It was steady. My heart didn't ache. There was no desperate urge to reply, to explain myself, to beg for their understanding. I opened the group chat, the real one, the one with the 5 of us. I typed, I'm not coming back. Lose my number. Before anyone could start typing a reply, I exited the group, deleted the chat, and blocked every single one of their numbers. Then, I blocked them on every social media platform. I even blocked Alara's secret burner account. I severed the digital umbilical cord with the precision of a surgeon. Roxy walked into the living room, holding 2 thick folders. She dropped them on the glass coffee table. Ready to work? She asked, a fierce grin on her face. I looked at the folders, then at her. I smiled. It was the first genuine smile I had worn in almost a year. Born ready. The project Roxy had brought me into was a tech startup focusing on AI-driven supply chain logistics for high-end fashion and lifestyle brands. It sounded dry on paper, but the algorithm I was tasked to build was revolutionary. We named the company Auratech. For the next 2.5 years, Auratech became my family. I channeled every ounce of betrayal, every kick from my brother, every dismissive sigh from my mother, and every fake tear from Alara into lines of code. I worked 80-hour weeks. Roxy handled the business and marketing. I built the product. We were a ruthless, unstoppable duo. Within the first year, we secured our first major round of seed funding. By the end of the second year, our software was acquired for licensing by 3 major international conglomerates. At 24, I wasn't just financially independent, I was wealthy. More importantly, I was respected. I changed. The frail, apologetic girl who wore faded sweaters and kept her head down was gone. I worked out, I ate well, I dressed in sharp, tailored suits, and I walked into boardrooms with a spine made of steel. I had cut my hair into a sleek, sharp bob, and the dark circles under my eyes had vanished. Occasionally, news of my former family filtered through the cracks. Roxy still followed some mutual acquaintances from our hometown, and sometimes, over wine, she would give me the highlights. Karma is a very efficient worker, Roxy mused one evening, swirling a glass of Cabernet. What happened now? I asked, not looking up from my laptop. Without you there to be the punching bag, the dynamic shifted, Roxy said, pulling up a photo on her phone. Alara couldn't play the victim against you anymore, so she started playing the victim against your mother. Apparently, Alara demanded a $50,000 wedding budget for her marriage to some crypto bro she met online. Your dad's hardware business took a massive hit during the supply chain crisis last year. They couldn't afford it. I paused my typing. And Hayden? Oh, Hayden, Roxy laughed darkly. Hayden got into a bar fight trying to defend Alara's honor because someone looked at her wrong. He got arrested for assault. Your parents had to remortgage the house to pay his legal fees and settle out of court, so he wouldn't do time. And the best part? Alara's crypto fiancé scammed your dad out of whatever savings they had left, then dumped Alara. I stared at the screen of my laptop. A part of me thought I should feel joy, or at least a vindictive thrill. But I felt nothing. They were strangers. Their tragedy was like reading a news article about a car crash in another country. Unfortunate, but entirely disconnected from my reality. Let them rot, I said quietly, closing my laptop. We have the merger gala tomorrow. Focus on that. The Oratech Acquisition Gala was held at the Ritz-Carlton. It was a massive industry event, celebrating our partnership with Omnicorp, the largest retail conglomerate in the country. As the CTO and co-founder, I was the guest of honor. The ballroom was a sea of crystal chandeliers, flowing champagne, and bespoke tuxedos. I wore a backless emerald green silk gown, my posture perfect, a glass of sparkling water in my hand. Roxy was across the room, charming a group of venture capitalists. I was standing near the grand windows overlooking the city skyline when I heard a voice that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Please, Mr. Sterling, if you could just look at the proposal. Our manufacturing plant can handle the load. We just need a bridge loan and advance on the contract. It was my father. I turned slowly. About 20 feet away stood my father, looking 10 years older, his suit slightly outdated and ill-fitting. Beside him was my mother, her face tight with stress, the expensive fillers she used to flaunt now replaced by deep lines of exhaustion. And trailing behind them, holding a stack of portfolios like a glorified assistant, was Hayden. He looked bloated, angry, and defeated. Standing a few feet away, clinging to my mother's arm, was Alara. She looked the same, wide-eyed, styled to look innocent, but the veneer was cracking. The designer dress she wore was a season old, and her smile was strained. Mr. Sterling, the Omnicorp executive they were cornering, looked incredibly annoyed. Mr. Vance, this is a celebratory gala. I don't discuss supplier contracts here. Furthermore, your company's credit rating is currently a massive liability. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to greet the guest of honor. Sterling brushed past them and locked eyes with me. His face broke into a massive, respectful smile. Simone, there you are. Stunning as always. My father froze. His head snapped in my direction. My mother dropped her champagne glass. It shattered on the marble floor. Hayden's jaw unhinged. Alara just stared, her eyes darting over my emerald gown, the Cartier necklace resting on my collarbone, and the aura of absolute power radiating from me. I smiled warmly at Mr. Sterling, entirely ignoring the 4 statues a few yards away. Arthur, thank you for putting this together. The Omnicorp team has been fantastic. Only the best for the architect of our new system, Sterling beamed. He lowered his voice slightly. Those local suppliers are getting desperate. Forgive the intrusion. Not at all, I said smoothly. Desperation is rarely a good business strategy. Sterling laughed, patted my shoulder, and moved toward the bar. I stood there, perfectly still, as my biological family slowly approached me. They looked like ghosts trying to approach the sun. Simone, my mother breathed. Her voice was trembling. Simone, is that really you? I took a slow sip of my water. I didn't smile. I didn't frown. I looked at her with a polite, blank expression one reserves for a confused tourist. "Hello, Mrs. Vance," I said. My voice was calm, steady, and terrifyingly cold. The use of her last name hit her like a physical blow. She recoiled. "Mrs. Vance? Simone, it's me. It's Mom. We've been looking everywhere for you. We thought you were dead." "You didn't look very hard," I replied effortlessly. A simple Google search of my name brings up my Forbes 30 under 30 feature from last month. "But I suppose you were busy." I glanced briefly at Hayden. "With legal fees, I assume." Hayden's face flushed dark red. "You're the CTO of Aura Tech," he stammered, looking at the badge on my clutch. "That's impossible. You're just your Simone." "I am Simone," I agreed. "Which is why I'm standing here, and you are carrying bags." Alara stepped forward, her eyes instantly brimming with her signature, perfectly calculated tears. "Simone, oh my God, I've missed you so much. We've all been so broken without you. I know we had our silly misunderstandings, but your family, we need you." She reached out to grab my arm, the exact same move she pulled the night I left. Before her fingers could even graze my skin, I stepped back, my eyes flashing with a sudden, lethal sharpness. "Touch me, Alara, and I will have security escort you out by your hair." Alara gasped, snatching her hand back as if she had been burned. "Simone, how dare you speak to her like that?" Hayden stepped forward, the old, violent instinct flaring up. He puffed out his chest, trying to intimidate me. "She's your sister. Apologize to her right now." I didn't flinch. I didn't step back. I looked up at Hayden, my eyes dead and hollow. "You lay a hand on me in this room, Hayden, and I promise you, you will not get an out-of-court settlement this time. I will bury you so deep in the penal system you won't see daylight until you're 50. Try me." Hayden stopped dead in his tracks. The realization washed over him. I wasn't the girl on the floor anymore. I was a woman with wealth, lawyers, and power. He shrank back, suddenly looking very small. My father finally found his voice. "Simone, please. We're your family. We made mistakes. I admit it. Your mother admits it. But look at you. You're so successful. We're so proud of you. Actually, if you have a moment, my company is facing a slight liquidity issue. Since you're partnered with Omnicorp." I actually let out a laugh. It was a dark, hollow sound that made my father flinch. "You want money," I stated. It wasn't a question. "After I left with $30 and a bruised ribcage, you come to me for money. We are blood." My mother cried, tears ruining her mascara. "You owe us. We raised you. We gave you a home. You gave me a cot on a freezing patio while a stranger slept in my bed." I corrected her, my voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You treated me like a maid. You watched your son beat me, and then you discussed what you were going to cook for dinner." "That was a misunderstanding," my mother wailed. "No," I said softly. "It was an education. And I learned my lesson perfectly." Alara, seeing that the parents were failing, tried one last desperate tactic. She let out a loud, pathetic sob, drawing the attention of a few nearby guests. "Simone, please. If you hate me, just punish me. Don't punish your parents. I'll leave, I swear. Just help them." She was playing to the crowd, hoping societal pressure would force me into compliance. She hadn't realized the rules of the game had changed. I reached into my clutch and pulled out my phone. I tapped the screen a few times and held it up. "It's funny you should mention leaving, Alara," I said, my voice carrying clearly over her fake sobs. "Because I had our security team do a background check on all potential vendors attempting to contact Omnicorp today, including Vance Hardware." I turned the screen toward my father. "Did you know that 3 weeks ago, Alara took out a $150,000 line of credit in your company's name? And that she wired it to an offshore account in the Bahamas?" The color drained from my father's face entirely. He turned to Alara, his eyes wide with horror. "What? Alara, what is she talking about?" Alara stopped crying instantly. The mask didn't just slip, it shattered. "She's lying. She forged that. She hates me. I'm the CTO of a data company," I said icily. "I don't forge data. I expose it. The IP address matches her phone. The signature matches her handwriting. She's been draining your failing company for months, preparing her exit strategy before the ship fully sinks." My mother grabbed Alara's arm. "Alara, tell me she's lying. Tell me you didn't steal from us." Alara shoved my mother away with a viciousness I had always known she possessed, but that they were seeing for the very first time. "Get off me, you pathetic old woman." Alara spat, her voice shrill and ugly. "Your company is bankrupt anyway. You think I was going to stick around and be poor with you losers? I only stayed because you were easy to manipulate and bought me whatever I wanted." The silence between the four of them was deafening. The perfect illusion they had sacrificed me to build was entirely, utterly destroyed. Hayden lunged at Alara. "You bitch." "Security," I called out, my voice ringing out clearly. Within seconds, 4 massive men in dark suits descended upon the group. "These 4 are causing a disturbance," I told the head of security calmly. "Please escort them off the premises. Permanently." "No, wait." "Simone," my father begged as a security guard grabbed his arm. "Simone, please. We're ruined. You have to help us. You're our daughter." "Simone, I'm sorry." "I'm so sorry," my mother screamed as she was pulled backward. Hayden was violently wrestling with a guard, shouting obscenities at Alara, who was trying to run toward the exit before the police could be called. I stood in my emerald gown, holding my sparkling water, and watched the security guards drag the screaming, chaotic mess of people out through the grand brass doors. The heavy doors slammed shut behind them, cutting off their voices completely. The ballroom returned to the soft hum of jazz music and clinking glasses. Roxy appeared by my side, handing me a fresh glass of champagne. She looked at the brass doors, then at me. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. I took a deep breath. The air in my lungs felt cleaner, lighter than it ever had in my entire life. The phantom pain in my ribs, a ghost that had haunted me for over 2 years, finally faded into nothing. I clinked my glass against Roxy's. "I'm perfect," I said. I turned my back to the doors, walked toward the center of the ballroom, and never looked back.